This
Like-
conference will now be recorded.
Fair Council meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear kind Heavenly Father, we come before you in this time, great time of celebration of Christmas. We pray for those who are suffering during the holidays, where it's due to illness, loss of loved ones, or tragic accidents and all. Please guide everybody and touch them. They know that you're with them. Lord, we ask you as we go into this meeting, to guide us and make the right decisions for our town and our town people. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, looks like all the council's present. Has everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes, the regular meeting on November 14th, the executive session minutes on November 14th and November 29th? So do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Is there any questions, concerns, or any changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstained, motion carried. Treasurer's report.
Okay, we'll start with the general fund. The general fund checking account has a balance at the end of November of $2,019,357.89. Really wasn't anything in there, anything out of the ordinary to comment on, so everything is just as usual. The water fund, end of November, had a balance of $739,843.06. And again, just normal transactions, nothing there. The sewer fund at the end of November has a balance of $309,683.97. And everything just looked normal there. On the CDs, I'll make a note about the CDs at the very top, the ones that we had with Fulton, the old Columbia Bank. I noticed today that the dates on the one CD was passed, and we weren't sure what was going on there. We haven't gotten any communication from Fulton Bank, so I reached out to them today. So the first CD is actually a renewal date of June 13, 2023. And the other one, the second one there from Fulton, I think it has 1/1 of 2023. It's actually 1/25 of 2023. So I'm going to be working with Fulton Bank and Brian in the next couple of weeks to get those CDs renewed and updated, because the rates that we're getting there aren't that good. Otherwise, the rest of the CDs, the laddering that we have is still running. The general fund has a balance of $2,176,960.92. And then the bottom of the page there, you'll see that those other two CDs have all been cashed out. Other accounts, the restricted funds over at Middletown Valley Bank currently has a balance of $2,160,553.30. And the breakout is there. How that money is accounted for. The payroll account, just a ZBA account, nothing there. American Rescue Funds, ACT funds that we have at Middletown Valley Bank is now up to $3,121,918.78. And the water fund has a user fees money market account for $174,362.33. And the sewer fund has a user fees money market account for $84,910.53. That is everything at the moment.
Do I have a motion to accept treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
A We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Kind of wanted to ask you about the CD and fold.
Yes.
So there's two that are upcoming here very close. And there was a third one past due.
No, we have a total of two.
Okay.
The one is already past due, the first one. It showed a date of 6/12/2022.
Oh, okay, I think you said 23.
Okay, it did, but they didn't even send us a notification. We got nothing at town hall.
Yeah, they should.
So, yeah, so it's okay. We got it straightened out. I talked to Maria. And like I said, we're probably gonna end up pulling that one that's got a renewal of 2023 on it now. The penalty is minimal. We'd be better off to make higher interest rate and just move on. So, yeah. So we'll talk about that next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same, abstained, motion carries. Yes. Washington County Commissioner Gary Carvey, they were sworn in, approached me about coming to tonight's meeting. So that's why I had him on the agenda, but evidently something must have came up that he couldn't make it. So I received an email over the weekend from Zach Stanfield. Zach, you want to stand up and introduce yourself and tell council why we're here?
I'm Zach Stanfield. I'm from Boy Scout Troop 52, and I'm here to fulfill some requirements for some merit badges. So I already talked to the mayor and asked some questions, but otherwise I'm here to listen and take some notes.
Well, good, thank you.
Welcome. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Great. Can I trouble you for the public comment sheet, please?
It's always you, Brad.
It's
always you.
Yeah, usually.
The whole sheet, I think it's a sheet. Colin, when you come up, please state your full name and your address, please.
Sure. My name is Colin Schinberger, 15 Young Avenue. Just wanted to stop in this evening and see if there's been any progress, any consideration to the last public comment that I made. Just kind of looking to see if that's gained any traction in regards to the American Rescue Plan funds being used for employee premium.
Yes, so we're going to discuss it in executive session tonight.
Okay.
I got your email. I'm sorry I didn't respond back to you.
You're a busy fellow, I understand. It's all good.
But we had a executive session 2 weeks ago and gave everybody some food for thought, and we're going to discuss it this evening.
Cool, all right. Well, I hope things can be done in a way that takes care of the town employees and helps them. Thank you guys for this opportunity, and that's all I have to thank you.
So good. Thank
What,
you.
Merry Christmas?
I might send you. I don't know.
That man was used to it.
You gotta be.
Alvin?
We were here last time they talked about High Street, problems on High Street up there with.
Can you give your address and all four?
34 High Street. So we talked about that and they brought up, they were talking about maybe making High Street all the way down to the square. And we couldn't hear about that Jerry. So other car companies complained about, not having the traffic, the fire trucks down the street. And it's hard to see coming out.
Yeah, it's on our agenda. Yeah. Talk, discuss that out here. Okay. Jerry, anybody have anything?
Matter of dignitary needs to be taken care of first. There.
You go ahead and finish doing it.
Okay, yeah, my name's Jerry Rednar, I'm 98 High Street. Just concerns about the High Street residents and if you see them putting through, if we gotta go one way. I mean, we got a pretty good life up there. We don't want to have to go out into the traffic in town and fight that mess. And we can just spread it around the back way. We're quiet people, we don't have to deal with it.
We're not gonna make it one way. I've had a couple of your old residents stop me and said, which way you gonna make it one way? In or out? Yeah, I said, you're crazy. We're not gonna make it either way, one way.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I mean, we're different people.
We're gonna work on signs.
Another thing that I'd like to bring up, with the traffic and situation in Boonsboro, something I wanted to bring up. It's this pedestrian crosswalk down here at the town building.
Yes.
I've been in 2 incidents where I had to cut one person off. When you stop with the pedestrians, if you're in a truck,
They go.
they want to go around you.
Yep.
We're gonna run over a kid down there.
As of sometime in mid-spring, State Highway assured us that the signals are on order and they will be installed. And they will have a button to push and lights will flash for people, for traffic to stop so people can cross. the
Okay,
street.
well, that's my concern. That's why I'm here. I don't like to say
We've
much.
been
We've been
waiting-
working on that long.
we've been waiting on 4 years for that and finally State
Well, I'm
Highway.
surprised you don't have 1 or 2, or I don't know how many kids down there.
I know, it's
You're
not
right.
good. You're right.
We agree with you 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Gary,
Oh, okay.
the floor is yours, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
Come up and have a seat.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Howard and everyone else, and I can go through all the names, but I just wanted to make sure that this is the start of my second week. I sworn in a week ago tomorrow. And my intent is to try and keep it open a dialogue as possible. I see a municipal league and other things, but don't hesitate to reach out to me if there's something I need to come down here, take a look at, whether it's, something more formal or just, hey, come on down and take a look. We'd like to, let you see what's going on or what our issues are. I can't help unless I know, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Many of the municipalities have their meetings at the same time, so I'm gonna be rotating through. So I'm starting with Williamsboro, and I'll stick around and listen and try and see what's going on and then stay engaged and look forward to doing that. So please, I'm pretty much an open book, and the only way we can get things done is to work together and to collaborate and understand, what the issues are. And, I'm not in your shoes, Mayor, but, you've got perspectives and understanding about what's going on here that can be helpful, not only to help me help Boonesboro, but to help us both, help the whole county. So I look forward to doing that.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on your new endeavor as new county commissioner. Wish you the best of luck.
Can you give me a cost of living increase?
That you have to take care of yourself. Increase, but please don't increase taxes.
I hear you. So,
But no, we understand that. Sometimes you have to make ends meet. We don't like raising taxes, water rates and all, because it hurts a lot of people, but sometimes you can't help it.
I understand. We've been fortunate at the county level to have had surplus the last 2 years that has enabled the county to address a few things. And we'll see how it works out going forward. But there, as I wrote in the Herald, when those questions were brought up during the campaign, do you want to give the money back or what would you do with it? And I said, there are more requirements, okay? Not nice to have things, but actual requirements. We have obligations to fund. And also good programs that are out there that are not very well funded, like, farmland conservation, for example. And then there are nice to do things like county commuter, $340,000 is what we get in cash. 10% of the county commuter funds are supposed to come from the county, 10% from the state, and 80% from the federal government. The state has not been funding its 10% share. It'd be nice if we could lower that price for everybody or eliminate that small fee that they have. But also getting a commuter line out to Boonesboro and Hancock and through Clear Spring, to, even if it's limited, but regular, so that, people that are on the margins are having difficulty, have something that they can rely on. And, looking forward to trying to do things like that too.
We are the second largest municipality in Washington County, and we cannot get bus service. We have fought.
Many
Very
years.
Tied up for any of these people want to get bus services down here. And they just make the loop down through Boonesboro, Keysville, Sharpsburg, and back up to Sharpsburg Pike. twice a day. Morning and in the afternoon.
Well, for sure, there
You
needs
begin business.
to get to, the Robinwood, Meritus area. And, the number one area I found out was going to Walmart over by 81. We'll see, but, there are things that, are worth spending money on, especially for people that are not as able to handle things. And have more difficulties in life than most of us here have, okay? And I think it's our obligation to try and do that as best we can. That's one of the things I want to do. So.
Have you been in a position long enough to have a business card yet?
No, I had that discussion with someone today.
Would you share your contact information with Ken for us?
Oh, great.
Mary Lou will send it over to me.
Okay, but I'll make sure everyone has it. I'm gonna stick around. It's pretty easy. Derek John Harvey at Washington County, whatever that. And then
I was going like yourself.
my cell phone.
I probably already have it.
My cell phone number, is this on Facebook? It's being broadcast on
Nobody's watching.
You don't have to.
You can share that.
We'll figure it out, but eventually, a lot of people have contact, but, there are some people that don't like, Republicans that are conservative, in this county, and, there were some negative things, that happened during the campaign. I want to avoid, making myself a target as much as possible. So, anyways, Howard, thank you very much. Paul, Eric, everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations.
Any other public comments? Mayor and council correspondence, anybody have anything to bring up? I'd like to thank those that made it to the Christmas celebration, the old time Christmas. We had a very, very nice crowd, and it was a little chilly. Yeah, so, but,
Can we send a thank you to the Christmas tree?
Yes, yeah. You have the people's names.
I do, and I also put a thank you in our newsletter for them.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, that turned out really,
That
really
turned out
well.
Very nice. After 4 tries to get to the light. But it was all good fun. Everybody enjoyed it. Police department, what you got, chief?
All right, our calls for service, I can only tell you what happened after Thanksgiving, because everything prior to Thanksgiving was lost with that happened.
Yes.
So we had 8 calls for service the last week of the month. We had 65 other people contacts and we had an arrest. I attended the mayor and council meeting, and Ed did the public safety, and then we had some other things, issues that we've taken care of. The main thing was the hack. Now, I was told today by Russ, who's one of the guys of the IT, they're bypassing the hack system by changing SIM cards. They're gonna cost us $40 a piece. I told Russ, that's no big deal. Whenever you can do it, we'll give you, I guess we'll get a check from you, Kim, and give it to him for the sheriff's department. And according to Russ, we're supposed to get reimbursed for that, but upfront we gotta pay for them. So it's $40 times 6, so it's $240. And that's a no-brainer, we need to do that. So that's on that. The High Street issue, I finally got the speed trailer to work, set it up last Tuesday when we got the battery changed over. And this is last Tuesday afternoon to the day at 12 o'clock. The whole week, there was 351 cars total from down there, from Main Street to St. Paul Street. That's the direction we did first. So that's not a whole, that's 50 cars per day is what that amounts to. The peak day was on a Friday, and between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, there was a total of 22 cars. The rest of them was, from midnight to 3, there was none. From 4 to 7, there was 8. There's 10 on that, between that 4-hour block. So as far as a large volume of traffic like we had out here, so far from Main Street to St. Paul Street, it's not really that big. I mean, you can break it down to 50 per day. That's 3.35 vehicles per hour.
What was the peak, Kevin?
The what?
What was the peak, 50?
4 to 7. on
Yeah,
Friday.
it was how many?
It was 22.
22. Thank you.
Yeah, for those 4 hours. And that was the bid, and that was on a Friday, that was December the 9th, that was on a Friday. I can show you the chart, there isn't any other time, that was the busiest period, that's where it brought, and that was on Friday. If you think about it, it's people going home, they get back up here at the light, and they cut through there to miss the light. So, and I honestly, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a problem up there. The top speed, now, we did have one idiot during the week that went down through there at 36 miles an hour. One vehicle.
I think that was been the whole problem.
It was Al that he was like.
About 49.
Yeah, well, there was one vehicle. For the most part, the speed is 238 between 1 and 19, 50 between 20 and 21, 28 between 22 and 23, 14, 24 and 25, 10, 26, 27, 28, 29, and now we're talking for the whole week, 6, and then 3 was between 30 and 31. 34 and 35, there was 1, and then 36 to 37, there was 1. That was the top speed. There was 1 vehicle that. So,
How do you even drive that fast?
well, I mean, if someone, when they got to that bend, it's kind of straight there, so he just floored it and being a butthead. And I mean, maybe he thought that he could see that, you know,
Maybe he's trying.
let's see how fast, but I had to go with blackout once he got 5 over the speed limit. So he didn't accomplish what he was trying. But again, I mean, going that way, I was expecting a whole lot more and a whole lot worse as far as speed by the complaints that I got. And I spoke with a bunch of people up on the street, and I mean, they're not for putting a one-way there. And honestly, from what I can see, it doesn't warrant a one-way or even a sign there.
But you really only have one person.
Yeah, right.
One guy,
Right.
right to begin with, but somebody ran on those grass.
Yeah, yeah. And then I go, the second time I was up there changing that trail, I had 2 people come up and talk to me. I talked with you and Jerry, and there was a gentleman up there with you that evening.
The only thing is, you get once in a while, you get someone to blow by there, maybe 35 hours.
Yeah, and that's evident here. I mean, I got it. So anyway, today I turned the trailer around and get the speed and the count going the other way, but I don't think it's going to be as high as this. I mean, I can send you all an email next week, or we can wait till January and I can tell you what the stats are, but I mean,
Going that way, it's so dang hard to see.
yeah, I don't think there's a problem going that way. I think that's why I did it this way, to see what the bulk is coming from Main Street to St. Paul. So,
Yeah, I think the whole problem is Friday night or the day before the holiday, this town gets so clogged up with you all not having your bypasses in yet. And a few people come in and you got the 1 or 2 clowns that come down High Street. A few.
That or the wreck on 7 day, everybody comes.
Or 7, yeah.
And all in the 40. That's when we get a mess.
But it's the Friday and the holiday, that's all we're talking
but if anybody needs to see the actual, I mean, I've got them here, I can show them to you, make copies and give it to you, but honestly, I don't see where there's that great of a problem as far as gravity. And other than that, I don't have anything. Nothing.
Anybody have any questions of the chief?
Well, I do note, I noticed in the Public Safety Commission minutes that they passed to us to have the signage there. You aren't interested in that, are you?
Well,
Signage saying from 3 to 7?
No, when you're from Fort, yeah. it was-
about. The only real concern, you're talking about the speed, but with my living on that street for I don't know how many years, it's right there at the garage that you're in. You got the stop sign out there at the end of the road. You have joggers, kids on bikes. I've had a kid bounce off my bike that I had to call the cops about to bounce off my car, coming down the sidewalk out of control. And then I had 2 joggers. I stopped back in the building because I had a kid bounce into me. I started to pull up and I have a jogger bounce off my car. You've got that blind spot right there, which is probably more dangerous than the 1, 2 clowns that come down High Street too fast.
Kevin, does it make sense to leave it two-way until you get to the curve and go down and make that just one way in?
Well, I mean,
But then you got people that can't turn around to go back out.
yeah, it's not like out here we have parking lot they can go into. And again, I mean, before I got last week's staff, I was just going with what people are saying, and that's why I made a mention about maybe one way just for those couple hours from 4 to 7. But honestly, I mean, it's not that bad. No, it's not like when we was out here, we had large numbers of cars going through. So, I mean, honestly, that's something that would really make a big stake again, and we could redo it. You know, I don't think I'd fool with it. Honestly, I don't see what that'd be a problem. That's my opinion. You know, there.
Is there a way you could entertain a motion to make the residents of High Street happy by keeping the status quo as to 2 directions?
Sure.
I don't think we're going to change it, though.
No, we're not gonna
I
change
don't think we're going to do
I
anything.
wouldn't want to hear the satisfaction that I'm going to be able to maintain my way of life.
Oh, you are. We're not changing anything.
That's all I'm worried about.
No, it's gonna stay the same.
Are speed limit signs posted on there? though?
Yeah, it's 15.
It's
15.
Okay.
It's 15.
Did anybody ask about maybe just putting up local traffic only?
That was giving us a nice suggestion.
I mean, you
The
can,
next step would be, not now, we don't need to, the next step, you make it a local traffic.
you can put that, but it's really hard to.
It's hard to enforce.
I realize that there's always gonna be the abuser, but I'm just saying, if you had the sign that said local traffic, local residents only, that might deter a couple.
I mean, I can make any sign
Right.
you want me to.
I don't know if that would help.
You don't know about the shortcut,
Yeah.
but why waste the money if
Right.
you can't enforce it?
Yeah.
Save the money on the sign.
Just a thought.
We get what the problem is, and then if the enforcement needs to come up and sit in our driveway.
No Friday traffic.
Friday, 4 to 6, whatever they need to do.
We do 1 mile.
Yeah. I'll move that trail next week. It'll be out there.
And when you do catch a speeder on High Street, is there a way that you can charge him, if you get the guy going 31? Is there a way you can charge him exceeding the speed limit by 100%?
Well, it's just, the state has it broke down from 1 to 9 is a certain fine, and then from 10 to 19 is a certain fine, from 20 to 20, so it goes up the faster you go. Okay, they're all set by the state, we don't set that. Again, I don't see that there's, I mean, I'm sure if you live in a car goes drifting by you at 40 miles an hour, that's a problem, but it's not like it's every day.
This
the only one time a week.
There is some little kids.
Yeah.
That would be my.
Especially when.
Yeah, we especially here.
Do you have signs that say like children are playing and that kind of stuff?
We can do that.
Yeah, there's none of that.
Yeah, let's get one in each direction, children at play with the caution sign. That way, they're being made aware of
They're
that.
not on the road yet for little, but they're gonna be on the road.
Yeah, but still, well, when they're really little is when you have to, you know.
Like I look and be around their bicycle and stuff.
Yep.
Because that road's so tight too, you know, somebody can just kind of pop right out of the track. Even if you're just going 10 miles an hour, it can be.
Yeah.
But now we can do that, children at play.
Something, anything about children.
Okay, thank you, Chief. New business, fiscal year 2022 financial audit update.
Well, I mean, I think Kim forwarded everybody the email from our auditor, Jason Canode.
Yeah.
He is targeting a special council meeting in late January. And I don't think has he reached out again for more information or anything?
No, not yet. So when he was here, we had applied to have an extension because of new staffing. And that was approved. So we have until January 31st to submit all of our financials to the state. So.
From what I read in the email was that he felt confident that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be done.
Not a problem, so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think we just knew that was kind of in the back of everybody's minds.
Mhm. Yeah, because typically we have everything by now. It's presented. So that's just the reasoning.
So like, is he thinking, like, because normally our workshop's the last Monday, which would be the 30th, like, we move the workshop to the 23rd? You think, is that what you think?
Is he shooting for that, or is he shooting for a regular mayor and council?
He's shooting for tonight, do we set a special meeting on this?
Or do you want to reach out to him and find out what he's talking
I know what he wants to.
about? How about that?
Yeah, we can do that.
And then we can adjust accordingly.
Fiscal year 2023 NDE wastewater treatment plant operations and maintenance grant.
I just wanted to share this on Pete's behalf. You know, we get a performance grant from the Maryland Department of the Environment every year for good treatment numbers at the wastewater treatment plant in terms of phosphorus we release, how much, well, I forget the other chemicals, but, you know, Pete always does a fantastic job, and it seems they've given us a cost of living increase. So we're up to $43,317. Get a chance, you can tell Pete he's doing a great job, and it has been for a while now. So, and then Kim attached this. Do y'all remember? I think it was in August or September. The EPA made the announcement that they were going to be giving Maryland via the Maryland Department of the Environment $800 million in infrastructure money over the next 5 years. But historically, Boonesboro has been ineligible for grants and loan forgiveness for any of Maryland Department of the Environment's grant programs. So we sent them a comment letter asking them to consider the unique economic disadvantages of Appalachian Western Maryland, and it seems like they threw us a bone because the revised criteria that are now out for a comment period have Boonesboro as a disadvantaged community or eligible for grants and loan forgiveness. So that's great. We have a follow-up meeting with the grant director, Jeff Fretwell, for this Wednesday. Although this is great news, you know, the rest of Washington County, all the other municipalities that weren't already disadvantaged communities still are not, and that includes Keysville, Sharpsburg, and Smithsburg. But, you know, they have the same economic conditions that we do. And I think the reason that Boonesboro is now a disadvantaged community, they added a poverty level criterion, which is used by the Appalachian Regional Commission. So they took our advice, but you know, we need to talk to them again to figure out what the thinking was in these new proposals, so that, you know, we can make our next move, because we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, if we reach out to them and say, oh no, we were talking about all Western Maryland. Oh, you were? Well, forget about it. No, we don't want that. So you know, we have a follow-up meeting with Director Fretwell coming up here on Wednesday. So.
Any question, but does not take an opportunity to look into this?
I had made Sharpsburg and Keysville and Smithsburg, they're all aware. And as far as I know, they submitted support letters for our comment letter back in September. If this follow-up meeting with Director Fretwell goes well, then we will likely do a follow-up letter and have all the municipalities in Washington sign the same letter and pretty much asking for the same thing. So, you know, I kind of just want to wait and pick Jeff Fretwell's brain before we do.
Thank you, sir.
But anyway, that's big news. That's $800 million over 5 years. And, you know, we were looking at nothing but grants unless we made this thing happen. I mean, sorry, nothing but loans unless we made this thing happen. Also, now that we're a disadvantaged community, we may be able to now retroactively apply for loan forgiveness. So that could have a significant impact on the loans we have with MDE now, and possibly getting those like clean.
Good. Long overdue. Any other questions for Paul? Public Safety Commission action item and staff recommendation is for fire company, fire department emergency response on St. Paul Street.
So Greg and I met with the representative from the fire department, Mr. O'Connor. Is it Kyle?
Kyle, yeah.
Met with Kyle O'Connor and Chief, oh boy, his name is Vern Wachter. And we met here on St. Paul Street to get a better idea of what he was talking about. So the issues, there's a few issues going on. So apparently when the engine swings out of this bay here, they're having issues when they turn left. Apparently they go about 50% of the time they go up St. Paul, and the other 50% they go down towards the intersection. And one of the issues they're having is with this resident here, whose name is Richard Smith, has I think his wife or his girlfriend parks her vehicle here. But I called him, and it's really, they don't need much more space. So the idea would be to just paint the curb red right here, and I talked to him about it. He's fine with that, explained the situation, and his girlfriend will just park right here, and that way they'll have, you know, apparently there's been some situations, I guess, where they pulled out and they had to reverse. So, you know, you really don't want anybody in the way when they're trying to respond to emergencies. When it comes to responding to heading, I guess, what is it, west on St. Paul, they often have issues with food truck people delivering food to Dan's and to Dan's Tap House and to the inn. I spoke to a representative of the inn and I spoke to Dan. They are going to not speak to their food delivery people and have those trucks unload off street. They're not going to use St. Paul any longer. And the recommendation, at least that Public Works and administration have, is that we would then post no parking, no loading, unloading signs along the street here. Because when, you know, because these people are bringing in like tractor trailers.
They can point at parking lot.
Yeah, they're huge.
We told several, we wrote a couple of tickets that they point at parking lot behind the motel.
Yeah. I think they're just gonna have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, they're gonna walk at 15, 20 feet.
Can I say something? And it's not just the delivery people. It's when they drop off the employees, they pull around the corner and the people are getting out of the car and they're talking and kissing and we're trying to come around the square and we're sitting in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's not just delivery, it's employees and personnel and people going into the restaurants. And the thing is, it's not for elderly people.
So you want to rent this inside?
Okay.
Okay, we put that sign. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
I guess,
It's not just on St. Paul though, it's also on Main Street. It's in front of the inn, it's in front of where we have 2 lanes here now, it's right even there. And it was even blocking my driveway the whole way up there for 20 minutes the other day. And I had to actually call the beer distributor and say, your people are at Dan's, tell them to move their truck.
I
I mean, it's all over Main
spoke to
Street.
Dan, he said he was gonna talk to his food delivery people, and like y'all just said, I mean, there's a parking lot right here, these 2 spots right here behind the inn are, I think, what they have designated for food deliveries, so I don't know why they can't just use
They
that.
just don't want the delivery guy to walk.
Not like that, like, even behind Vestas, I've noticed Coca-Cola, they'll pull their tractor trailer in Vestas and they'll wheel the carts up, but they got automatic dollies to pull stuff up and unload.
I think they're
in
just gonna
stores.
have to start getting some tickets to.
Well, again, if you put the signs in the red curb, that'll make it a whole lot easier for us to
What?
take it there.
We can do that.
Red curb though, is right here in front of the haircutting place. And they blocked that whole lane.
I mean, so I got the delivery times from Dan, so, you know, if we just want to sit on these people and make them learn the hard way, we can do that. It's every Monday and Friday morning. So, you know, I think sometimes the opinion is, at least by the drivers, is that I'm not paying these tickets. So, but I guarantee you, they're their bosses are gonna learn the hard way too. I mean, that's, you get a series of,
Because we paid our own tickets.
Do
so.
we know who the perpetrators are? I mean, is it the same?
Cisco is the food delivery people that Dan's uses. Apparently the inn only has flowers delivered and baked goods and things like that. They don't have the large 18 wheel. It's only Dan's that gets these. Because they found now that if they deliver in these 18 wheelers and make much more stops, obviously it's more cost effective for them to do.
Sure, I get that.
But, pulling into these small, small town roads is, I mean, if an 18 wheeler were there, the fire truck would not be able to deploy. And if they could squeeze by, it wouldn't be safe to do. So anyway, that's the idea. And this was already talked about, public safety, right, Mary Lou?
So signs and red curves. It's going out.
You need a motion on that?
That'd probably be a good thing to do, yeah.
We could have a motion.
Well, hold on, just because I have a question for next motion. 'Cause I think they talked about the whole way up to High Street, but then you're saying not the whole way because the people park there and it does kind of get a little wider.
Well,
A couple houses on High Street, right? So I just want to make sure we make the motion.
Can I comment?
Right here, one second, please. Well, right here at the doctor's office
Right.
is kind of where it goes from commercial to residential.
Gotcha.
I don't think we should mess with people's.
I don't think so either. That's why I was
Just right there,
Flood,
that
flood,
one
flood
spot in
day.
front of that house, and they've already agreed to that.
Right, so that wouldn't quite be the High Street, that's all I wanted to say, because I know that in the safety meeting, that's what they talked about, but I know that they were gonna walk it and look at it. You know what I mean? So I just don't want to make the motion up the High Street.
When we were talking with the chief and with O'Connor, they just wanted a little red band right here. They just said that they can swing out. They just, when this person parks a little closer to the church than to further up St. Paul, that on a few occasions they've had to back up and.
Right. And I think that's all it kind of meant, they just said High Street, and that's what I put in there, so I just want to make
Is
sure.
that the driveway? or is
Make
that
it,
one
I don't
actually-
like taking.
This is a driveway. This is,
So you could just paint that.
now, this driveway belongs to Mr. Smith.
You could just paint that as red.
Church.
Yeah, church is already red.
The church is already
So I
red.
mean, the driveway all the way to where you want to go.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my comment is, in recent times, we got a box truck sitting up there all the time. And if my house is on fire, I want the fire company to be able to get into High Street.
Box truck is there doing a renovation in one of
And
the.
it's gonna make it hard to get into High Street, come in to save my butt if I'm up there in fire. And.
That's why we want to make it one way.
No, we're not.
And the line in front of Peggy Dealer's old house, I don't know what, 34 or something. That line's only like 2 foot long, and it gives us no way to look around the corner.
Yes, yeah.
So that box truck is
Right
working
there.
on a renovation in this building. And I don't expect them to be there much longer.
When he's talking about, there's also, when you pull out of High Street, you can't see down there. They get all the cars down there. You can't see, especially if you're in a truck like mine it is, we see pretty good with the car, you just can't see.
So you're talking coming out off of High Street.
They want to go far, yeah, right through High Street.
Yeah, right, there, you got about a 2 foot red line there at that
You
house.
see the line there, we're talking about?
Yeah, there's no red line there at all. It is, oh yeah, it is, I see it very short.
The thing is, I don't think the guys repainted St. Paul Street this past spring. I noticed that the curbs, like, it's kind of like a, worn out red. It's not the bright red that,
Almost like
That house right there, what Jerry's talking about, he's correct, because you only got about a line about that long. So
Yeah, all these people have off-street parking and garages. Even this house we're looking at right now has a garage on High Street.
Peggy's house.
Peggy's house has a garage on High Street.
But they could just make the line a little bit farther down there. Talk about a line.
Probably down to the end of the porch.
About, yeah, it's about where it used to be at.
Yeah, it used to be down about that far.
See, we used to see where it's.
It used to be right there.
yeah.
We'll repaint.
That would help out tremendously.
And then you will put a red line down there so our fire apparatus can respond and get by Dan's and in and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're talking
And they
about.
have been issuing tickets.
Public safety is always number one.
Okay, well, that's a real big concern to me too. Good.
Mhm.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Barely make a motion.
Going to make a motion to paint the curbs red and put signage up on St. Paul Street from the square up to the firehouse. And then on the other side up to, I don't know what the house number is. Do you know what the house?
One of those, like,
Yeah, it's,
can I bring up the notes?
Peggy's, it's 18.
No, but it's not the 18, it's the next one. So is that?
Let me get out.
22, must be 22.
We're just gonna repaint that curve, so Greg will know.
Okay, as Public Works pointed out and was displayed tonight, however.
Can I bring up one?
We have a motion on the floor.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
Now, Jerry, to say it's.
Could you change the speed limit coming up from Dan's by the fire hall there, about 15 mile an hour till you get around the bend? And that would help us out too, because they do fly through there pretty fast sometimes. Because right now it's 25 mile an hour.
They set the trail, they're gonna see what
Okay.
the problem is.
If you slow it down, like 15 mile an hour there, 20, yeah.
We're gonna, after we finish with that trailer, he's gonna swing over there.
When we take it down, I'll look at tractor more.
We gotta get it going that way first.
Apparently that house is 14.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
The little white house is 14.
Have to drive it to 8 in front of it.
And then I guess we should add to the motion about straightening up the curbs at the intersection of High Street for the curbs to be repainted.
All the impression of red paint.
Yeah.
Up in the curve and the apron.
You get all that, Kevin?
And then the last thing with that is, oh, I'm sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Everybody know what you're voting on?
We do.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain. Motion carries.
And then the last thing was Knox boxes. We had that conversation last, meeting.
We have one out front.
We have one here and we have one at the community center. We probably don't have the correct keys in either one of them. Ole dropped by the other day and he asked for the addresses. He's gonna work with the county to get them open back up and to get us new keys to open them back up so that we can put the correct keys in the.
That sounds great.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, I have a recommendation to.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Can I say one thing and I'm gonna leave?
Yes, sir.
Proud of what you're doing. It's a good organization and you keep up the good work. Thanks.
There you go.
Hey,
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks.
take care, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now.
You did all right. Thank you.
Yeah, I like to have a recommendation to appoint to public safety commissioners, members, like to, with the council's permission, I'd like to appoint Brian Smith. Brian lives out on Maple Avenue. Do I have a motion to accept Brian Smith?
I'll make the motion to appoint Brian Smith to the Public Safety Commission.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we know if it's the 2 or the 4 year?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Flip a coin.
I wondered about that too, but I don't know what the different appointments and commissions are.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstain, motion carries. I have another nomination for the Safety Commission. They have down here is Bo Quinn. His real name is Harry Quinn. He lives up on
Greystone.
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 Oh, you
He
feel
lives in
great.
Greystone.
Well, it's developed.
He lives in Greystone Drive, yeah.
It's at the corner of Winter.
It is, but yes.
But his address is actually Greystone.
Apparently.
I'll make a motion to appoint Harry, known as Bo Quinn, to the Public Safety.
Very good.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Anybody else have any other new business?
I have a question. Did we do Harry Noggles at the meeting? Because Harry Noggle was the other one that was.
Yes.
So he had already been done.
Yeah, he's already been done.
Okay. I kind of thought he was.
Yeah, we did him and Rick Stevens at
Yeah.
the same
Okay.
time.
The last time.
Okay. We should be, I think, the full.
Okay, hearing no other new business, commission reports, park board, Rick? By the way, I'd like to thank the park board for a very nice evening down at the park, even though the tree malfunctioned, but it left eventually. But that was the park board.
I'll let 'em in.
But everything was very nice, big crowd and all.
I'll let them know that. That's what the meeting was about, setting up for the Old Town full-time Christmas, and which was held, and then 2 days after that. Everything was good. That's about all I have on that. We won't be having a meeting rest of this year. So it'll be in January.
Okay. Anybody have any questions of Rick? Thank you, sir. Good for a minute, for utilities. Ready?
Well, the BMUC did not meet last month, so I have nothing to report, and we will not be meeting this month, so we will bring that little effort at the first of the year.
I'm trying something new, nothing.
It's a well-deserved break, let's just say that. The commission works hard.
Planning commission. Eric?
Yes, the planning commission has not met now for and they're not meeting this month again, as a matter of fact. But I will say that I am constantly asked around town what's happening with the post office. And I heard a rumor, maybe Paul told me the rumor, I never heard it. But I heard that the Easter days have sold the lot to someone else, and the someone else people will be completing the post office. And the post office employees have stated they hope to move in after the holidays. I think that might be a little premature. But is it true that Easter days?
Yes, that is correct.
Great.
That can be reflected in the minutes.
Good.
Now, they're gonna have to wait for warmer weather before anybody can.
That's great.
And I'll just say to back up on Tony a little bit, that there's a lot going on in utilities. Paul sends out a lot of information, Tony does a lot of work. I encourage everybody to keep up with what's going on there. I know Colin knows. There's a heck of a lot of good stuff going on in good utilities. Yeah. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions of Eric? Hearing none, public safety, Mary Lee.
All right, the Public Safety Committee met on November 17th. You heard some of the highlights and discussion. I do know there's been talk about the Opticon traffic signals and signage. Did you guys talk at all to Kyle about that when you met with him?
No, so I don't think are the emergency vehicles equipped with the, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
And now, police departments don't have that. The fire department, ambulance companies, they do. Like when they go through the city, the dual highway, any of those, they just hit the button within a quarter of a mile. And it changes, it changes green for them. So they're coming down Main Street, they get down below, well, up from the park a little bit. They're able to hit that, and it'll give them a green light to pay through. But again, that's only for fire departments and ambulance. Police departments don't have that.
These fire departments equipped with that?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm almost
They said
positive.
it's like some kind of iPad.
Yeah, they just have a button, and it's, when you go to the county to other places, she looks like a camera.
Yeah, set up on top, and they have them on top of their trucks.
Well, that's, I don't know about the truck, I know things like
City,
that stuff.
city does.
There's the sensors and the emitters, and it uses infrared, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then that's what changes the light, so they get a green light. They don't have to. And it's a few seconds before they get there, so the cars can start getting out of the way. Again, but that's the fire department, and it's my understanding that the state provides all that. You just got to request it. So like in these intersections here, the square and up here at the 66, Maple Avenue, I mean, they just have to install it.
The 68 equipped, have one on it?
Well, no, they like one there
Yeah, I mean,
too.
they should put them on, while they're not on all lights.
Question, Wolford.
Well, I think that's what they're looking for, is they don't even know the
Yeah.
process to how you get this started. And
Right, and again, I
maybe
think,
that
I think
state,
they
somebody in
should
the
do-
county could help us
Yeah, they
tell
should
us how to
basically
get
put
it
them
started.
all
We
up.
didn't know if we started with state
Now-
monitoring. I thought
It's,
we've got
that's
time
states,
on with
yeah,
them.
states traffic lights.
I know that the fire department has a button they hit inside the
Right,
station.
to turn it when they, yeah.
Did they install that?
But it's
Because they
just
didn't want
for
that
this-
at one time.
I know they didn't want it, but they have it. They just don't use it.
They just forget to use it on.
Yeah.
That's what this-
But again, I mean, that's something that should be, you know, all the lights and put in the ambulances and the fire.
Well, again, that's been talked about at more than one meeting, so I know they just would like us to support them and then help them facilitate what's necessary to do that.
From the ambulance company that sits on your commission?
Yeah, JMAC.
Do they know anything about it?
Yeah, these iPad things, and they also wanted, maybe that we put signage up there, you know, Popping the Hill. You know how we have the signage at the hill between Kennett Circle and the school that, you know, says the light's gonna turn red.
When it's
They're
lighted.
talking about the signage like at the top of the hill before you get to Wise coming into town that says, you know, fire call or ambulance alert, let us know that the light's gonna, you know, turn in red or something like that, but these Opticons were saying to do that.
Right.
That was the first discussion of
I
topic.
don't know where
So
they
we don't have the opticons on our lights now.
Correct, we do not.
No, we
Does
don't.
Mary
From my
Jane need to get involved?
understanding, well, that's what we don't. do. It's
The
how
fire
the
department
custom-
and the ambulance company have the
Both.
emitters on their vehicles.
Yes.
They do.
It's my understanding they do. I mean,
They
they,
do the newer one.
if they go through like a dual highway, they get it so the light changes for them, so I'm sure they do.
You have Mary Jane's information.
Phone stand uses
Yeah, we just have to have on our lights here in town.
So anyhow, that was, a topic and it sounded like a reasonable request to help them get this going. The Knox boxes, we touched base, it was suggested maybe we put that in the newsletter.
Yeah, it's already in there.
Residents can Also get those for your homes and you register them online with the fire rescue. So if you're not home and your fire alarm goes off. And or you can always put help. So, the other things that were talked about that was new business was, the food truck festival and the Boom Fest were talked about. And the Public Safety Committee discussed handicap parking and street closures for the food truck. And at this time, they're of the opinion that we should utilize the park and not close the streets there if we don't need to. And the same for, there was some talk about doing Boom Fest and,
Can I give you?
sure, is there a new update?
Food Truck Festival doesn't request to shut that street down. You have to talk to the fire police.
Okay.
They're the ones that are closing, Orchard Drive down and not allowing anybody up and down. They do it at the carnival too.
Okay.
And they do it for the night of the fireworks.
Oh.
They told me that they do it for safety
Okay,
purposes.
okay.
So
Okay, and then there was talk about Boom Fest expanding it to something like Middletown's Main Street where they,
Close.
Main
yeah.
Street, but,
EDC has talked about that.
so, the thought was maybe we should try it on side street first before we expand the whole Main Street closing thing or whatever.
Hospital's available.
Yeah.
Main Street has got to get approved by the street.
Right, and that's what we discussed,
Yeah.
so,
Well, they have a lot of room at the park. They run out of room at the park. We
Yeah.
talked about that.
other than that. It was a
Fest.
I know.
But
I think you guys had a good follow-up from what I sent you for the signage and the curbs and, the High Street. Thank you for putting that data there. That, helped a lot. So we're gonna report back to them that we're not gonna put signage up based
I
on
mean,
the traffic numbers.
To hear that one side complaint, I thought there was
Right.
a real problem there, but after looking at the numbers and that, it appears no.
And, Mr. Inhour and Alvin Kurz both came to the public safety meeting as well. So. And that's it for my report. We meet Thursday, the 15th, if anybody wants to come.
thank you. Anybody have any questions, Mary Lou?
Yes, he's been coming.
Hearing none. EDC. All right.
We have not had a formal meeting since this body was last together. Our next formal meeting will be January the 4th. I did craft two letters, one from EDC, one from the town council to Senator Porterman for funding for the Lisbon Museum of History. That's about it. Letter of support. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions, Ray? Hearing none. Environmental Commission. Terry?
We haven't met yet, we meet tomorrow night, but I do have a question. The town website shows that Cassandra Ladino, Laura Schnackenberg, and Amy Jones were approved for their same positions. But and this went through an email apparently that I wasn't privy to, so I think it needs to be a little more transparent, so that everybody knows that I didn't make this motion to you all yet to reinstate them in their positions. And then also with, who are the other two? Barb Wetzel and who's the other? Kim Pruitt. They had their commission, they're extended now. They added another term or whatever. And all this must have happened through emails that I was not aware of. So you must have read minutes.
That's probably.
Yeah, and that's how it happened. So do you want me to, I'd rather make a motion to do all that now?
I gotta appoint them first, and you can take.
Yeah, it's all reappointments, correct?
I like to reappoint 3 people that you just know. I don't remember names.
Cassandra.
I'll make a motion to appoint Cassandra Ladino as chairperson, Laura Schnackenberg as vice chair, and Amy Jones as secretary.
So, 1 second. We don't appoint their officers. They do that
They do
themselves.
that themselves.
We just reappoint them to the commission
And that's what I'm
if,
doing. I'm reappointing them.
okay. So is Cassandra,
Motion.
I make a motion.
one more time, Cassandra,
Cassandra Ladino, Laura Schnackenberg, and Amy Jones.
okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same. Abstain, motion carries. They're reappointed. Now they can elect their whatever position they want themselves.
And then the other two, do you want to do them?
Sure. Barbara Wetzel and
Kim Pruitt.
Kim Pruitt. I'd like to reappoint them to another term on the environmental
So I'll
commission.
make a motion to reappoint Kim Pruitt and Barb Wetzel for additional terms.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same, abstain, motion carries. It's nice to have people that want to volunteer. Yeah. That's great. Any other thing coming up from commissions?
Oh, and I do have a question. There was a destruction of property on St. Paul again, and is it the same gentleman, Schlackle or something? His window was broken this time.
It was at 2:00 in the morning.
What is going on there? I spoke to him the first time his house was egged. What was that, over a year ago? I went to him and talked to him, and I felt horrible about that. And now somebody's broken his window.
I think it's the same person.
No, it is.
It is, because I was fine.
The one that he, that was political,
He had a sign in his yard, which
he
is
didn't,
fine.
he didn't have any sign this time.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what's going on. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's a very nice man.
The county handled it, like I said, about 2:00 in the morning, I think it was a beer ball.
Is there cameras? Did they ask to look at cameras?
We have any cameras.
And his was down, I think, or something, maybe.
What's his address?
St. Paul, right up from High Street,
You get
talking
the-
about.
Just before you get to the turnaround there.
Right before the close.
Right, post.
It's one of the houses that's been
Yeah,
remodeled.
it's been
Down
No,
the
It's
street.
before you get
Before you
to
get Steve,
Steve, yeah.
before it's through the curb.
Yeah.
And I did want to thank Riley and whoever else was involved with 26 South Main. The backyard looks good. You can see there's a yard now. It looks good.
That's a big one.
Yeah, thank you.
That was all right.
I didn't know there was a big propane tank in that yard.
Yeah, I mean, it was a jungle.
You couldn't see it.
Surprise,
I don't know how it got, nobody noticed that long. Well, no one lives
I
there.
don't know how, why, that's why.
No one lives
So nobody's filling it up, the gas tank up. So. And town managers report, Paul.
Just starting to work on the state of the town, have that ready for review for the January meeting. We just got a $120,000 grant from the Rural Maryland Council for our dewatering press project. We are now at 600,000 in total grant funds, and we're expecting another 250,000 through the Rural Maryland Economic Development Fund. So when everything's said and done, we should have around 850,000. As you all know, the total project cost is about 2.3 million. An update on that project, the press is going to be on its way here from Quebec, the French press.
Don't drink that coffee.
It'll be on its way on Thursday, and we are getting very close. We're reviewing the procurement the BMUC is reviewing the procurement documents, and we're going to be putting out a procurement to hire a prime contractor here soon, and then hopefully construction will begin in February or March. Just to recap, Howard and I were one of only 2 towns at the legislative forum, us in Williamsport, and we detailed our legislative priority booklet and talked about 3 of our most important projects, which is the water line looping, the lead water main replacement project, and the wastewater treatment plant lagoon dredging and excavation. The lagoon dredging and excavation, as we look more into that project, it's probably going to work its way up the priority list. Those lagoons were installed in the 1950s. And so, if you recall, we emptied out one of the lagoons into the other one. So we have about 2 million gallons, of untreated raw sewage sitting in a pond over by the wastewater treatment plant and in a 70-year-old lagoon. So the rubber liner, which is the same kind of liner they use in landfills, is getting pretty close to its life expectancy. And we're going to have to put some effort behind finding some funding and working to get that second lagoon emptied and dredged. So we just applied for to have solar panels installed on the both of the water treatment plants, both in Boonesboro and in Keysville. Don't worry, we will not be renting them, we will be owning them. Today, we took the first step to decommission the Crestview well. The well was filled with grout and concrete and has been officially abandoned. Unfortunately, because of the hacking issue with the county, we've been unable to apply for the demolition permit, although I completed the paper documents and submitted them today. So hopefully we can begin demolishing the building soon after the holidays. And then on the 10th, Howard and I are scheduled to go present a funding request to the Board of County Commissioners for to have our intersection project funded. The intersection project, I should say, is definitely a big need. It is not a feel-good project at all. It's a very important public safety project we've been working on since around this time last year. We currently have 400,000 in grant funds, 200,000 from the state, another 200,000 from MDOT, and we will be presenting to the Board of County Commissioners a request for 400,000, a matching amount. The total cost of the project on the school side is 800,000. So we also, as everybody knows, just submitted a memorandum of understanding to the county, asking them to essentially reach out to the Board of Education, ask them to convey that piece of property we need for the land swap for the local property owner there. And they are reviewing that memorandum of understanding. We hope to have it executed by the time Howard and I attend their meeting on the 10th to ask for funding.
There's progress.
Yes.
Yes,
And I heard you make, kind of make it sigh or something when Paul said about only 2 municipalities was at the delegation. I did. At the swearing in of the county commissioners, you know how many municipalities showed up? How big are you? One. Me.
That's
I hope the county commissioners remember that.
Bigger than $400,000.
I already told Randy, sitting at the reception, I said, you know, there's 9 municipalities in Washington County. He said, yeah, I know that. I said, how many was that you was swearing in today? He said, you know, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you.
You're looking at it.
I just went.
I already have some stories to tell, but not here.
I'm gonna say I was very surprised to see that we were only 1 of 2 municipalities at the
Delegation, yes. Well, there was 3. Hagerstown met by
By
themselves.
themselves, yeah.
Yeah, they get a half hour by themselves. So out of the 9, the other 6 didn't. No, we don't.
Well, I guess some of it was put together a little late because
It
of the
was,
changing of the guard.
Well, it was short notice too.
So,
They only gave us a week's
Yeah,
notice.
so they normally plan
And
ahead, but
they-
because we had new delegation, new people, it kind of got changed, so. But yeah, that's-
Anything else, Paul?
That's it.
Anybody have any questions of Paul? Hearing none. I need a motion to go into executive session as provided under Journal Provisions Article 3-305B1, subsection I, to discuss the appointment, appointments, assessment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom it has jurisdiction. So moved. Second. Any questions? Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll take a brief,
Good night, thank
couple
you.
minutes if you like to.
Thank you, yes, and I appreciate you.
Thanks